Hey guys, Aaron here with another fountain pen video, and today I'm bringing to you that mystery pen that we talked about last week. And most of you had guessed or commented down below what pen you thought it was. And most of you guessed Lamy 2000, or at least that was the main guess. I had a couple, I think, that had guessed a couple other names as well, and nobody was able actually to guess what pen it was. And I will say this pen obviously looks a lot like a Lamy 2000, but it is actually not a Lamy 2000. So this is actually the pen case that you see in front of you. It's one of the coolest pen cases I've gotten. So it has a really nice form and function. You can actually use this as a display case on your desk, which I think is really cool. So you could really put any pen in here that you wanted to. Use it for your desk at work, use it for your desk at home, wherever you want to. These little pieces here actually pop off. That allows you to lay the item flat. You can still flip it over however you want to do it. Now I am going to flip over the case and reveal the pen brand name, which is Wancher. Now some of you may have heard of Wancher before, and if you guys watch Figbud on Pens, he has, I think, reviewed a couple of the Wancher fountain pens, most notably this pen right here, the Dream pen in the red Urushi finish. And if I'm not mistaken, Stephen Brown has also reviewed that same styled pen. Now, Wancher's been around actually for quite a while. They also are a maker of watches as well. And if I'm not mistaken, they've been around since the late 70s, early 80s. I think it's the late 70s to be exact. And they are a Japanese company that produces watches and fountain pens. Now this pen that you see in front of you, the actual name of it is Wancher Matte Monte. Now it gets its name from matte, based off of the finish of the pen. You'll notice that it has somewhat of a matte finish. And then Monte, you'll notice that right here, the A in Wancher kind of resembles a nib, but it also kind of looks like a mountain. And one of the things with this pen is they designed the nib, and you'll see that when I reveal it here in a moment, to resemble a mountain. So hence the name Monte, which is Italian. Now, what did I pay for this pen? I paid $40 for the pen and $8.99 for shipping on eBay. I actually got it from a seller on eBay called Ngaika. And for those of you that don't know, they are a very well-known or popular Japanese online pen retailer. If I'm not mistaken, they actually have a storefront in Japan. I know that Figbud on Pens has bought several pens from them, as well as other pen reviewers. So if you haven't checked them out before, definitely go check them out. They sell a lot of Japanese made pens as well as other pens on their website for almost wholesale type prices versus what you would typically pay for them if you're buying from, say, another pen retailer. So if you're trying to save money, might be a good option for you. Now, on Wancher's website, they have this pen listed MSRP on there at $90. I've also seen it on other websites as high as $120, and I've seen it as low as $70. So I feel like overall the price I paid for it was a good price, so right under $50. Now, as far as sold auctions on eBay, I've seen this pen go for as low as $17.50 minus shipping costs, and as high as $50 minus shipping costs. So I was kind of up there on the higher end as far as what I won the auction for. And typically one of the drawbacks is you only see about one or two of these pens up for auction at a time. And part of that is because Ngaika is the primary source offering these pens for auction. What is the pen made of? The pen is made of an aluminum material, and they put this matte styled finish on top of that aluminum to kind of give the material somewhat of a texture to it. And I will say it works very well. It feels really nice in the hand. It feels kind of premium. And one thing that I really enjoy about the material is most fountain pens in general, but especially black fountain pens, are fingerprint magnets, especially if you have oily hands. And one thing that drives me crazy is I'm constantly wiping off my pens, especially my black pens or pens that have black finishes. With this pen, I don't have to worry about it. Very rarely do I even see a fingerprint on this pen, and it's one thing I really enjoy about it. The clip is supposed to be chrome plated, and the nib on this pen is stainless steel. Now, one other, kind of drawback of this pen is the nib is only offered in fine and medium. And I noticed online on a lot of the auctions, they're typically only fine nibs. So you may ask, well, is the nib more of a Western fine / Western medium, or is it more of a Japanese fine, Japanese medium? For those of you that do not know, Japanese fine is going to be a lot finer, more like a Western extra fine. To me, this is a Japanese fine. I actually have done a side-by-side comparison of this nib along with a Pilot nib and a Pilot fine, and they both have almost the exact width to the line. So I'll show you guys in the writing sample so you guys can kind of see that. So that is one thing about the pen that I felt was worth noting. Now, as far as the dimensions of the pen, capped it is 5.3 inches. If you uncap the pen, it is 4.3 inches long. And when you post the pen, it does post very deeply. It is 5.5 inches. So when you look at the pen, you'll notice it has really nice tapered ends. Again, it's got this nice matte finish to it with this texture to it. Now, looking at the finial down here, or the end of the barrel, you'll notice again it kind of has a chrome style jewel at the very end, or a silver. As you work your way back up towards the clip, you'll notice you have a step up here. Up towards the cap, you have a step up, and then it reveals again that Wancher logo. Now, I think another unique thing about this pen is the clip. It's a really interesting clip design, and you'll notice up top, you kind of can see how that clip sits in there, and it's spring loaded. And when you pull this thing up, it really separates. And I mean, it works well. The thing I like about the clip is you can literally put this clip through any type of material easily, whether it be regular shirt material, a jean pocket. You can also put it through several pages of paper. I was able to put it through about, and I'll kind of show you guys, here's a Clairefontaine notebook. I mean, this thing, here's probably, I don't know, 15, 20 pages, and it just pops right over them. And it can go through more pages than that, Now you may say, well, do I really need a clip that can go through that much? Not necessarily, but hey, it's still kind of cool. So, again, I like the clip design. It's neat. Now this is a snap-on, snap-off cap. It is not a twist cap, which I actually like that. A pen like this, it does mimic a Lamy 2000, obviously. I think having a snap cap, suits the pen well. And it works great for when you're at work. I like the sound that it makes when you pop it back on. Gives you a nice clicking sound. And it definitely kind of feels premium. I like that sound. As far as for work purposes, this pen is great. I love it for taking notes. Can get the cap on and off quickly. I will say that fine nib, even it gives you a fine line. It's great for cheap paper, post-it notes, copy paper, all of those things. It works very well. I've used it to sign several documents, take notes on cheap paper. I have not had tremendous amounts of feathering or bleed through. It just works well. So this is a great pen for work, in my opinion. Now, taking the cap off reveals that nib and section. Now, you'll notice that it does have a step down to the actual section here, which I kind of wish it didn't have that step down. You do notice it a little bit when you're writing. Now, I have not used this pen for extremely long writing sessions, so I may not notice it after a while, but I do notice it. And I have other pens with bigger step downs than this one, but I do notice this one. I do like the fact that they kind of have this silverish tip at the end. And again, this nib combo is supposed to reveal, are supposed to mimic a mountain. And I definitely can see it looking at it. Now again, this is just a regular stainless steel nib. It's a fine nib. It does the job. It works very well. There you can see that plastic feed right there. And you know, the material, again, kind of a close up there, just feels really nice in the hand. It's not Macrolon by any means, but it feels nice, and it feels, to me, premium. One thing that will be interesting is to see how this material holds up over time. I'd be interested to know if you're someone that posts your pen a lot, if this is something that might wear down some of this black material. Now, this inner liner is, or this inner cap liner is plastic. So, you know, you may not have a lot of issues with it, but you never know, over time it may wear down some of this black coating. This pen is offered in other colors. From what I can tell, I think it's only 2 other colors. There's a silver finish and a white finish as well. Now, this pen is a cartridge converter pen. So taking this off, it does come with both a converter and a cartridge. So I've got the converter that actually came with this pen, not just a regular standard international converter or cartridge. It came with a short cartridge, so not a long cartridge. And it works well. I mean, you know, there's nothing really necessarily fancy or anything to really see that will be different. This metal collar right here really snugs this converter very well. And I mean, you've got to kind of jam this bad boy in there, but once you get it in there, it's not going anywhere. It works very, very well from that perspective. You know, as far as the pen goes, guys, that's about it. I mean, I really enjoy this pen. It works well. It's great for work. Up next, we're gonna do the writing sample, and then we'll finish up from there. I am gonna reveal next week's mystery pen as well. If I didn't mention yet, I am going to put in the description for at least the first week, mystery pen revealed. Until, you know, most of my subscribers at least watch the video, and then after that I'll actually put in the description the actual name of the pen. So up next, guys, I'm gonna do the writing sample, and then we'll finish up from there. See you in a moment. All right, guys, I'm back. I'm gonna zoom in here. I should have already zoomed in. Normally I've got this already ready. All right, so I've got the Wancher matte Monte. The ink that I'm using is Pilot Iroshizuku Yamaburo. I like this ink a lot. Now, this is a smooth writer, even for a fine nib. It does give a little bit of feedback, but overall the nib is very smooth. I don't have any issues with ink starvation or anything like that. I do get the occasional, if I've let the pen sit for a day or two, the occasional hard starts. And when I say hard starts, I'm talking like the first up or down stroke, the pen, you know, doesn't really start, and then after that, no issue. So it's not like the pen, like I'm sitting there, you know, tapping it on the paper or anything like that, or, you know, trying to shake the pen to get it to write. It works right after that. Line variation, you're not getting any. This is not a pen that you're getting line variation out of. You know, wetness test, it is a fine nib. Don't expect a lot, but, you know, even for a fine nib, it's pretty decent. I think, you know, as far as wetness, it does the job. So now comparing it to say a Pilot fine. So this is my custom 74. Now this is, sorry, I keep hitting the tripod. This is a custom 74, or I'm sorry, a soft fine nib. So I'm not going to put really any pressure, but you can tell the line is about the same. You know, there's not a tremendous amount of difference there. This pen doesn't have a lot of ink. It's about ready to be cleaned out again, but they're definitely about the same. So I did want to kind of show that, and you guys can be the judge to see. You know, I don't have a Western Fine inked up right now to kind of show, you know, the difference between the two, and I should have for this video, but that just means it's another pen that I have to clean out, so I didn't ink one up. Guys, you know, so the question is the pen worth the price? Would I pay $90 for this pen? No, I would not, and only because I have other pens in that price range that I'd rather own. But I think for around $50, this is a really, really nice pen, and you can't go wrong with it. So I definitely would say if you can get it in that price range or even below that price range, you've got to steal, go for it, buy the pen because it's worth it, and I don't think that you will be sad that you bought it. The only downside again for me really is the fact it's only offered in a fine or a medium, and a lot of the eBay auctions are usually fine. So if you don't like fine nibs, obviously it's not the pen for you. You do get this really, really cool case though. I really like that. One of the cooler cases I've gotten. All right guys, I'm gonna reveal that mystery pen for next week, and you guys tell me in the comment section what type of pen you think it is. So let me grab it. All right, so I'm not gonna really show off a lot of it, but I'm gonna let you guys see it and get one decent look. And this is a pretty popular pen, so I have a feeling you guys are gonna get this. I have faith in you guys. It's a pen that I've actually owned for a while. So you guys are probably gonna guess correct, and I'll give you guys one hint, and this might even give it away. If you guys have watched Chris Rap 52's videos for any length of time, he has reviewed this pen, and I actually bought this pen because of him. So that will give you guys an idea, and if you aren't sure, you can always go back and look at some of his videos and probably find a review on this pen. Guys, that concludes this review. For the sake of time, I am going to tell you guys goodbye. I hope everyone has a wonderful week, and I will see you guys next week with another pen video. Talk to you guys later. Bye-bye.